chant. Me not born from ape, that me takan. Me bloodline trace back for the sun. Renard, negative, rare, divine. Architect clipping on me spine. Jesus whisper about 26 kings. Them know the seal and the golden rings. Oh, blood of the gods, what you hide? DNA scroll from the astral side. Golden dawn, rosy crucian right now. Me see through the darkest of nights. Code speak low but power high. In not the veins where angels cry. Golden dawn and Vatican gate. Me blood now wait, me blood create. Chitarist leader in elite disguise. In the chalice, grail upon grail. Oh, blood of the gods, what you hide? DNA scroll from the astral side. Golden dawn, rosy crucian right now. Me see through the darkest of nights. Code speak low but power high. In the veins where angels cry. Golden dawn and Vatican gate. Me blood now wait, me blood create. I watched when the Anunnaki first splice. Took sacred earth and mixed it thrice. From seed of stars to flesh of men. Them call it life, I call it blend. Me see AB negative royal cast. A memory of future and distant past. Oh, blood of the gods, what you hide? DNA scroll from the astral side. Golden dawn, rosy crucian right now. Me see through the darkest of nights. Code speak low but enchanting, dreaming, chosen few. B-type, common A-type, divide. Aura, neck, that soul aligned. From blueprint deep to heart ignite. Awake, our children, reclaim the light. Oh, blood of the gods, what you hide? DNA scroll from the astral side. Golden dawn, rosy crucian right now. Me see through the darkest of nights. Code speak low but power high. In the veins where angels cry. Golden dawn and Vatican gate. Me blood now wait, me blood create. Lux excitata ignis day. Light awake and creator's own way. Sanguis purum, claves cali. Blood is
I'm just done. That's what people don't get. I'm not mad at anyone.
Nanotech, blockchain, CBDC, smart cities, digital ID, social credit systems, automation technology. The world's changing, can you feel the energy? From the lab to the streets, they tell us it's our destiny. They are changing everything around us so effortlessly, but it's hard for the people to see. Smart cities where the streets are alive. Everything's connected, data's on overdrive. Traffic's automated, green energy's the new norm. Urbanization's the game, tech is the reform. Social credit's the new currency.
Give you my two. One of them is that you need complete totalitarian controls, and the individuals. They might not be perfect. They might be demons. Doesn't matter, but you have a demonic totalitarian control of your society where it's like you have like parapsychological mind meld with everybody, and no one can act independently of anybody else. No one can ever launch a warp drive weapon, and everybody who has that ability is Marian individualistic free agency.
Right.
And then I think the other version socially and culturally is they have to be like perfectly altruistic, non-self-interest. They have to be angels. And so the Pazolka literal thing I'd come to is the aliens, it's not that they might be demons or angels, they must be demons or angels.
Announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that.
The first data centers are actually under construction in Texas already, and we'll be turning them over to Sam to start training their next model. The data center we already built, it was the largest computer ever built. The data center we're building will surpass it and be the largest computer ever built, which enables this AI, which will allow personalized medicine. This is going to touch all of us. Yes, it takes a huge investment, but the result of the investment will be vaccines that prevent cancers, personalized medicine where we never again run into a problem like COVID-19 before, because we had an early warning. We know when COVID starts, when there are a handful of patients, rather than having to wait until it's become an epidemic and very difficult to control. This is a very large investment that affects all of humanity. Is artificial intelligence the most important discovery in the history of humankind? And question mark, maybe. We'll soon find out. 18 months later, I think it's very, very clear. It is a much bigger deal than the Industrial Revolution, electricity, everything that's come before. We will soon have not only artificial intelligence, but much sooner than anticipated, artificial general intelligence, and not in too distant future, artificial superintelligence. What is artificial and superintelligence? I'll quote my dear friend Elon Musk. Well, Elon said about artificial superintelligence, I'm not looking forward to being a house cat.
This is the single fastest enterprise company in the world, probably the single most important enterprise stack in the world today, Palantir Ontology. Anybody from Palantir here? I was just talking to Alex earlier. This is Palantir Ontology. They take information, they take data, they take human judgment, and they turn it into business insight. We work with Palantir to accelerate everything Palantir does so that we could do data processing at a much, much larger scale and more speed. Whether it's structured data of the past, and of course we'll have structured data, human recorded data, unstructured data, and process that data for our government, for national security, and for enterprises around the world, process that data at speed of light and to find insight from it. This is what it's going to look like in the future. Palantir is going to integrate NVIDIA so that we could process at the speed of light and at extraordinary scale. Okay, NVIDIA and Palantir.
A phone will really be an edge node for AI inference, for AI video inference, with some radios to obviously connect to, but essentially you'll have AI on the server side communicating to an AI on your device, formerly known as a phone, and generating real-time video of anything that you could possibly want. And I think that there won't be operating systems, there won't be apps in the future. There won't be operating systems or apps. It'll just be, you've got a device that is there for the screen and audio and for and to put as much AI on the device as possible, so as to minimize the amount of bandwidth that's needed between your edge node device, formerly known as a phone, and the servers.
AI is real, and it is going to change every industry. In fact, it's a very unusual technology in that regard, in that it's a horizontal enabling layer. Today we talk about AI first companies like OpenAI and Anthropic and Mistral and so on and so on and so on. There are so many startup companies that are kind of AI companies of various kinds. And that's normal for this phase. But that is not the biggest impact that AI is going to have. The biggest impact that AI is going to have is it is going to affect every company in the world. It is going to make their quality go up and their productivity go up. I mean, by every company, I literally mean every company, every manufacturing company, every hotel, every, consumer products company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that is hard to fathom, but it's real. There is no doubt. We don't know how long it will take exactly. We don't know how quickly that transition will occur. And it'll probably occur at different rates in different industries. But that is very real.
A lot of the code that Oracle is writing, Oracle isn't writing. Our AI models are writing. We just tell the model what we want the program to do, and then the AI comes up with the step-by-step process to actually do it. We don't write the procedure. We declare our intent, but the model writes the step-by-step procedure, that thing we commonly think of as a computer program.
There will come a glut for sure. And whether that's like in 2 to 3 years or 5 to 6, Satyan, I can't tell you, but it's going to happen at some point, probably several points along the way. If we can continue this unbelievable reduction in cost per unit of intelligence, let's say It's been averaging like 40x for a given level per year, that's like a very scary exponent from an infrastructure build-out standpoint. Now, again, we're taking the bet that there will be a lot more demand as that gets cheaper, but I have some fear that it's just like, man, we keep going with these breakthroughs and everybody can run like a personal AGI on their laptop, and we just did an insane thing here. Some people are going to get really burned, like has happened in every other
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems.
Right.
And so it's always, I don't know, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context, or a transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross dresses, and a transsexual is someone where you change your penis into a vagina, and we can then debate how well those surgeries work. But we want more transformation than that. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul, and you need to transform your whole self. And so,
right. But the other, wait. I generally agree with what I think is your belief that religion should be a friend to science and ideas of scientific progress. I think any idea of divine providence has to encompass the fact that we have progressed and achieved and done things that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors. But it still also seems like, the promise of Christianity in the end is you get the perfected body and the perfected soul through God's grace. And the person who tries to do it on their own with a bunch of machines is likely to end up as a dystopian character.
Well, it's... Let's articulate this.
And you can have a heretical form of Christianity, that says something else.
I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament. And so, and there is a word a sense in which the way I understand, the Judeo-Christian inspiration is it is about transcending nature. It is about overcoming things. And, and the closest thing you can say to nature is that people are fallen, and that's the natural thing in a Christian sense, is that, you're messed up. And that's true. But, there's some ways that, with God's help, you are supposed to transcend that and overcome that.
I'm going to say something, and it's going to sound completely opposite of what people feel. You probably recall over the course of the last 10 years, 15 years, almost everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program. And that the programming language is human. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence. For the very first time, we have closed the gap. The technology divide has been completely closed. And it's the reason why so many people can engage artificial intelligence. It is the reason why every single government, every single industrial conference, every single company is talking about artificial intelligence today. Because for the very first time, you can imagine everybody in your company being a technologist. And so this is a tremendous time for all of you to realize that the technology divide has been closed.
Is AI going to replace entry-level jobs, analyst jobs?
I mean, it will change certain jobs the same way technology has changed certain jobs for my entire 42 years in the business. So you think back when I started, if as an analyst I was required to do something, I had to go to the library, I had to go to the microfiche, I had to get data. It took hours. Things that take 5 seconds now, like doing a common stock comparison, took 6 hours. Yet we still have lots of very productive people doing more to serve our clients. I think the lens that you have to look at is technology is always changing work, changing jobs, adjusting the mix of different kinds of jobs, but it doesn't mean that businesses don't grow, economies don't grow, and opportunities for very productive people don't grow. And I don't think it's going to be different this time, although I do think there are jobs that will be different, and there are jobs that will go away. Yeah. But that doesn't mean new jobs won't be created.
It seems much worse for the math people than the word people. And what people have told me is that they think within 3 to 5 years, the AI models will be able to solve all the U.S. Math Olympiad problems, and that would shift things quite a bit. I believe it was during the revolution, because it was believed that verbal ability ran in families. Math ability was sort of distributed in the sort of idiot savant way throughout the population. And so if we prioritized math ability, it had sort of this meritocratic but also egalitarian effect on society. And then I think by the time you get to the Soviet Union and Soviet communism in the 20th century, where you give a number theorist or chess grandmaster a medal, which was always a part I was somewhat sympathetic to in the Soviet Union. It's actually just sort of a control mechanism where the math people are singularly clueless. They don't understand anything. But if we put them on a pedestal and we tell everyone else, you need to be like the math person, then it's actually a way to sort of control, or that the chess grandmaster doesn't understand anything about the world. That's a way to really control things. And if I sort of fast forwarded to, let's say, Silicon Valley in the early 21st century, it's way too biased towards the math people. I don't know if it's a French Revolution thing or a Russian sort of Straussian secret cabal control thing where you sort of prioritize it. But that's the thing that seems deeply unstable, and that's what I would bet on getting reversed. Where it's like, isn't it like
Like, and the place where math ability, it's the thing that's the test for everything, right? It's like, if you want to go to medical school, okay, we weed people out through physics and calculus, and like, I'm not sure that's really correlated with your, I don't know, your dexterity as a neurosurgeon. I don't really want someone operating on my brain to be, doing prime number factorizations in their head while they're operating on my brain or something like that. And so in the late 80s, early 90s, I had sort of a chess bias because I was a pretty good chess player. And so my chess bias was you should just test everyone on chess ability. And that should be the gating factor. Why even do math? Why not just chess?
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens
have developed around financial management for government, but also tell us a bit about what, because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it so we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country. So that's the big step. That's kind of the missing link. We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like.
So you're really, through the use of this, you're revolutionizing the way government works, right? The services it provides, the way that it operates. What about things like financial management, procurement? How can AI help a government operate more efficiently, more effectively, give a more direct and better service to the citizen?
Well, we have these modern financial systems. So, countries can, and all, for example, the AI system will help you do that. But again, the secret is to get all of that data in one place. Without having the basic data, it cannot answer the question about your country. I think countries are very uncomfortable with keeping their data in other countries' data centers. So I think part of our essential infrastructure, just like airports obviously need to be in our country, or they're not terribly useful. Ports need to be in our country, and they're not terribly useful. Data centers, because of the privacy requirements around the data, need to be in our countries, or they're not terribly useful. They need to be in our countries, but they also need to be secure. And there are new technologies right now. This is the last year you will ever log on to an Oracle system with a password. Next, by the middle of this year, I'm quite certain you are Tony Blair. So how do I know? Well, I look at you, I hear your voice, I listen to the kind of questions you ask. You're not synthetically created in having this conversation. The security system, we have biometric logins. The computer recognizes you. It recognizes your voice. It might ask you to put your index finger on the return key. And we're absolutely certain it's you. There's no reason to enter a password. In fact, passwords are too easily stolen. Data centers and data is being taken hostage all over the world. The ransomware
business is a very, very good business. It's getting bigger and better every year. We tend not to talk about it because the American FBI has a simple advice to someone whose data has been ransomed. Just pay them because there's nothing we can do about it. But there is something we can do about it, not after the data is stolen, but before the data is stolen. We can make sure that we're using the latest security technology, and it is going to be biometrics assisted by AI to make sure that you are in fact Tony Blair, and I'm sure you are. Now, I would love to live to be 150 years old.
Well, there's an amazing opportunity to reimagine the state, the way that government functions, and the service that it can provide for its citizens.
Worth trying to understand as a case study for what they're going to go through now with AI.
No, it's a good case study. And when you talk about the regulation, is it clear to you what sort of regulations would be constructive?
I think if it comes across as asking for a slowdown, that'll be really hard. If it instead says, do what you want, but any compute cluster above a certain extremely high power threshold, and given the cost here, we're talking maybe 5 in the world, something like that. Any cluster like that has got to submit to the equivalent of international weapons inspectors. And the model there has to be made available for safety audit, pass some tests during training and before deployment. That feels possible to me. I wasn't that sure before, but I did a big trip around the world this year, talked to heads of state in many of the countries that would need to participate in this. And there was like almost universal support for it.
And now we're going to plug in Giffion for the first time and turn on the computer.
Giffion is going to be a factory of intelligence. And this factory of intelligence is a new industry that never existed before. It sits on top of the IT industry. We're inventing something fundamentally new.
I can feel that I am not the only king in this room. I think the other one has a leather jacket on, and I think it's very cool to have you here, Jensen.
How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Is this your office?
This is the rocket factory, the SpaceX rocket factory in Starbase, Texas.
I just want everybody in the world to hear that you said I build bigger things than you do.
You do. The data centers are very enormous.
It all started in 2016. I announced the world's first AI supercomputer,
DGX.
The DGX-1.
The most advanced computer that anyone has ever built.
It was just crickets.
Crickets.
Except for one person.
I was like,
and it was you.
That sounds like a great idea.
So I built another DGX.
Great.
And this thing is mighty. This is the new DGX Spark.
So that's the whole thing? Wow.
5 times the computational power of DGX-1. 40 watts, not 4,000.
40, wow.
DGX-1 to DGX Spark.
You can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Cannot continue with business as usual, and change is inevitable. This is where technology, like digital ID, becomes critical. My institute's own analysis shows that introducing this in the UK would save at least $2 billion a year, and likely more, by reducing losses to fraud, improving tax collection, and better targeting of state support. We know this because around the world, countries like Estonia, Singapore, even India, have successfully implemented digital ID systems, cutting red tape and improving efficiency. These nations aren't just adopting new technology. They are reimagining how the state itself works. Of course, concerns about privacy and security are valid. But these systems, done in the right way, actually give individuals more control over their own data. With robust safeguards and transparency, we can ensure that digital ID enhances rather than threatens personal privacy.
And one of the questions is, how do you move from these physical dollars to electronic dollars? I think the basic technology is going to take place on the internet. I think the specific platform in the emerging world is going to be on a cell phone platform. If you look at the numbers, there are about 360 million, about 150 million online desktop-based accounts today. That number is projected to grow to about 350 million in the next 5 years. However, with respect to cell phones, internet-enabled cell phones, they're just getting rolled out right now. They already have some significant penetration in Japan, in Finland, in Sweden. They're getting rolled out in Western Europe, the US next year. The numbers are projected to grow from about 10 million internet-enabled cell phones today to about 1 billion in 5 years. In 5 years from now, everybody who is a member of the middle class in the emerging world and in the developed world will have an internet-enabled cell phone. The next Mark Zuckerberg will not be building a social networking site. The next Larry Page will not be building a search engine. The next Bill Gates will not be building an operating system company. If you're copying these people, in some sense, you're not learning from them. What you want to aim for is monopoly. You want to aim to build a company that is one of a kind, that it's so far differentiated from the competition that it's not even competing. If you want to compete like crazy, then you should just open a restaurant in Chicago. The great companies like Google, which is sort of the paradigm example I use, has had no serious competition in search since 2002, when it definitively distanced itself from Yahoo and Microsoft. And as a result, it's been generating enormous cash flows for the last 12 years.
Did you know that every product you buy is now designed to fail without monthly payments? They're not selling you things anymore. They're selling you temporary rights to use things you thought you owned. The original Adobe didn't innovate with Creative Cloud. They executed the perfect digital heist. They turned a $149 software into a $60 a month addiction. 10 years later, that same upgrade is now costing you $7,200. This is not progress. BMW tried to do this with heated seats. Tesla locks, features you already paid for. John Deere makes farmers subscribe just to repair their own tractors. You already paid for the machine, but now you are paying rent to use it. This isn't innovation, it's digital feudalism. You don't buy land, tools, or technology anymore. You pay rent to your digital overlord until the end of time. The average British person spends £696 per year on subscriptions. That's around £58 per month, and a total of around $6,960 per decade, which is likely to rise as more apps come online. We are now paying for things that earlier generations owned outright. We owned our movie, we owned our music, we owned our software we paid for. So whilst we were not looking, ownership quietly vanished, and the you will own nothing and be happy slowly started to become a reality. As the people still seemed happy, the chessboard was simple. Turn products into pipelines of continuous cash, revenue into rent, and cures into subscriptions. Why? Because your access into their annuity. Miss a payment, you lose access to everything. Adobe locks your files. HP disbails your printer even if it's stocked fully with ink. Steaming services erase your library. So as you can see, you are not buying convenience. What you are doing is licensing dependency. During lockdown, the corporations panicked as they were losing money. So what did they do? They didn't innovate, they secured cash flow. Subscriptions online exploded because when you are an investor, you like predictable revenue. They made your financial anxiety their stability plan. Learning your weaknesses, free trials that automatically renew, cancel buttons hidden under pages of menus, automatic pause options that make you feel guilty to trigger you into staying. They managed to build friction into what we thought was freedom. We are not just paying, we are teaching them how much pain we will tolerate. Did you know that AI can be programmed to analyze when you cancel, how often you log in, and what makes you hesitate? They do not want customer satisfaction, they want your surrender. The cruel irony of it all is that almost every subscription you pay for has a free or open source alternative, such as GIMP instead of Photoshop, LibreOffice instead of Word, and VLC Player for free streaming, and there are many more just like this. You never knew about them because you have been conditioned and programmed to believe that free means inferior. The truth is simple. You upgrade. This is not about convenience anymore. It's control, and it is all wrapped up in a sleek login screen. Long gone are the days when we used to pay once and own it forever. We now pay forever and we own nothing outright. Welcome to the fourth industrial revolution, Fiat Lux. Excitata Lux, one love.
We read the dream, then sell illusion. Digital chains in a cash infusion. From code to car, it's all confusion. Welcome to the new revolution. We read the dream, then sell illusion. Digital chains in a cash infusion. From code to car, it's all delusion. Rise up in the light solution.
What do you see as the biggest challenges in conservation?
The growing human population. Because if where we are, there's nothing else.
And do you have views about what should be done about that?
Can't you guess?
But in one way or another, we are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, you know, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
We've got to have global warming. We have global warming because too many people are using too much stuff. But if there were less people, they'd be using less stuff.
You brought up some issues that others are reluctant to bring up.
Always. All the religious groups are against me because I'm talking about population. They want more souls. I want less on the planet.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure.
To NeuroCore and 100 years of consciousness transference. A century without decay. And a century without competition. The gutter rats would beg to differ. The black market's booming with jailbroken soul stems. And how are you so well acquainted with of security? It's my job to know when NeuroCore substrates are being abused.
Ah, yes, spare me.
Gentlemen, 97% of living souls run on NeuroCore wetware. No. Never in our species' history has an entity overseen such mindshare. If some stray goons or... They're called patchrights. Yes, patchrights. The bastard! If they wish to traffic neural stems, let them. And security will see to it that these strays are neutered.
This is all so tiresome. Yes. You promised us a curiosity.
My apologies, darlings. Bring him in. An unmodified human, a complete biological baseline, and naturally, your dessert for the evening.
Footsteps echo in the temple of the night. Eyes wide shut, but my vision stays bright. 33 keys in a box made of gold, a cipher in the stars as the prophecies told. 7 for the sages, 5 for the kings, 1 for the spirit when the pendulum swings. Pyramids align with the gates in the sky. They built Iram tall for the sands ran dry.
Saggles in the streets, hidden in the signs,
lodge doors creak when the clock hits 9. A whisper in the lodge, a number on the seal, a name in the dust that the echoes reveal.
Hands in the grip, compass in the eye, watch how the flame makes the phoenix rise. Serpent on the staff, locked in the code, arcane text that the ancients wrote. Obelisk cast long shadows at dawn, marking the path where the lost ones have gone. Black and white floors in a room with no doors. Listen real close, hear the old world call. One.
Awakened light, I say it's the year to rise 2025. Align the soul, perfect square, let the story unfold. Jesuit scrolls, golden dawn flame, rewrite your path, don't play the same game. Rebirth code in the sky so bright, transform your mind through sacred light.
They say this year is not by chance, a secret dance in sacred ma. 45 square, the rare divine sign, last seen in 36, next far in time. Some of the odds, cube of the nines, the universe speaks through cosmic lines. This is the gate, the chance to evolve, unlock the code, let the riddle be solved.
The Jesus knew, the Magi too, the golden dawns of the ancient view. Balance and symmetry, perfect form, this year is the calm before new storms. Numerology says 9 is the key, end of the cycle, let your soul be free. Now's the time to reprogram the mind, break every chain that held you blind. Awaken light, I say it's the year to rise 2025. Align the soul, perfect square, let the story unfold. Jesuit scrolls, golden dawn flame, rewrite your path, don't play the same game. Rebirth code in the sky so bright, transform your mind through sacred light.
Repetition rewrites reality's law. Your thoughts the seed, your world the claw. Subconscious depths, rise and renew. Become the being your soul always knew. This is the mirror, this is the time. No more old loops, no more old lines.
Awaken light, I say it's the year to rise 2025. Align the soul, perfect square, let the story unfold. Jesuit scrolls, golden dawn flame, rewrite your path, don't play the same game. Rebirth code in the sky so bright, transform your mind through sacred light. So mark this year, don't let it slide. The stars are ready, the veil is wide. Sacred math, mystic rebirth, let your spirit rewrite the earth. Awaken light, I say it's the year to rise 2025. Align the soul, perfect square, let the story unfold. Jesuit scrolls, golden dawn flame, rewrite your path, don't play the same game. Rebirth code in the sky so bright, transform your mind through sacred light.
They say this year is not by chance, a secret dance in sacred math. 45 square, the red divine sign, last seen in 36, next far in time. Some of the odds, cube of the nines, the universe speaks through cosmic lines. This is the gate, the chance to evolve, unlock the code, let the riddle be solved.
The Jesuits knew, the Magi too, the golden dawns of the ancient view. Balance and symmetry, perfect form, this year is the calm before new storms. Numerology says 9 is the key, end of the cycle, let your soul be free. Now's the time to reprogram the mind, break every chain that held you blind. Awaken light, I say it's the year to rise 2025. Align the soul, perfect square, let the story unfold. Jesuit scrolls, golden dawn flame, rewrite your path, don't play the same game. Rebirth code in the sky so bright, transform your mind through sacred light.
Repetition rewrites reality's law. Your thoughts the seed, your will the claw. From subconscious depths, rise and renew. Become the being your soul always knew. This is the mirror, this is the time. No more old loops, no more old lines.
Awaken light.
From Eden's hush to temple stones, blood was mark in sacred tones. O negative, the ancient sign. The gods walked earth, they left their line. The Jesus watched, the Templars kept the secrets carved where angels wept. DNA don't lie, it speaks in dreams. The architects hid truth in streams.
Feel the flame, feel the fire. Bloodline rise, exotitalogs taking consciousness higher. Hidden code, ancient name, they all have power within the flame. 26 blood
something new today. The board that wakes you up level 1 to 5. There are 9 levels. Visit Meditation for Freedom UK. For the other 4. Fiat Lux.
Decode the path where few them trod. From stone to star, we are rise to God. From ink to flame, from code to soul, we chant in cipher and take back control. The veil gone soft, the portal wide, one love eternal. Now step inside. Decode the path where few them trod. From stone to star, we are rise to God. From ink to flame, from code to soul, we chant in cipher and take back control. The veil gone soft, the portal wide, one love eternal. Now step inside.